Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, for 1 year as we read through St. Faustina's diary. Join me, Amy Thomas, each day for a short reading out of the diary which brought us a deeper understanding of Christ's divine mercy. Hello, Catholic pilgrims. Welcome back to day 19 of our readings from St. Faustina's diary. Man, we have a lot to cover today. We are only reading one number. However, it's pretty lengthy, and there is so much in this one reading that I seriously could take a couple days to go over each thing. So we are just reading from Notebook 1, number 55. And the title is She Gets Some Spiritual Counsel Given to Her by Father Andres. And like I said, it's a little lengthy. I know when people read things that are kind of chopped up, mine tends to wander, but stay with me because there is a lot of really good stuff in today's readings. Well, not every day's readings, but we got a lot to cover. So we're going to get started right away with number 55. Spiritual counsel given me by Father Andres. First, you must not turn away from these interior inspirations, but always tell everything to your confessor. If you recognize that these interior inspirations refer to your own self, that is to say, they are for the good of your soul or for the good of other souls, I urge you to follow them, and you must not neglect them, but always do so in consultation with your confessor. Second, if these inspirations are not in accord with the faith or the spirit of the church, they must be rejected immediately as coming from the evil spirit. Third, if these inspirations do not refer to souls in general, nor specifically to their good, you should not take them too seriously, and it would be better to even ignore them. But you should not make this decision by yourself, either one way or the other, as you can easily be led astray despite these great favors from God. Humility, humility, and ever humility, as we can do nothing of ourselves. All is purely and simply God's grace. You say to me that God demands great trust from souls. Well then, you be the first to show this trust. And one more word, accept all this with sincerity. Words of one of the confessors. Sister, God is preparing many graces for you, but try to make your life as clear as crystal before the Lord, paying no attention to what anyone else thinks about you. Let God suffice you, He alone. Toward the end of my novitiate, a confessor, perhaps Father Theodore, told me, "Go through life doing good, so that I could write on its pages, 'She spent her life doing good.' May God bring this about in you." Another time the confessor said to me, "Comport yourself before God like the widow in the gospel. Although the coin she dropped into the box was of little value, it counted far more before God than all the big offerings of others." On another occasion, the instruction I received was this: act in such a way that all those who come in contact with you will go away joyful. Sow happiness about you because you have received much from God. Give then generously to others. They should take leave of you with their hearts filled with joy, even if they have no more than touched the hem of your garment. Keep well in mind the words I am telling you right now. Still another time he gave me the following recommendation: let God push your boat out into the deep waters, toward the unfathomable depths of the interior life. Here are a few words from a conversation I had with the Mother Directress, Mary Joseph, toward the end of my novitiate. Sister, let simplicity and humility be the characteristic traits of your soul. Go through life like a little child, always trusting, always full of simplicity and humility, content with everything, happy in every circumstance. There, where others fear, you will pass calmly along, thanks to the simplicity and humility. Remember this, sister, for your whole life. As waters flow from the mountains down into the valleys, so too do God's graces flow only into humble souls. Wow. that is so packed with like a million things I could talk about. It was so hard today to like narrow down what I wanted to say. But my absolute favorite part is let God push your boat out into the deep waters. I just love that. So, from time to time, I get into conversations with atheists. And one of the things they always will say to me is, I can be a good person without God. And my question always is, what does it mean to be a good person? Does it mean that you just have never killed anyone? Does it mean you don't speed? Does it mean that you don't waste food? I mean, what does that mean? Because it's very subjective in a lot of people's eyes. What I think is a good person may not be what you think is a good person. And so no one can ever answer me this when I ask this of the non-believing crowd. They just like, well, I'm kind to people and I'm just a good person. I don't get in trouble. That doesn't quite satisfy me. I think right here is the answer. To be a good person, you have to let God push your boat out into the deep waters. Well, what does that mean? She tells you right here, all these different people who are giving her advice, they give you such great insight into what that means. So we're just going to go through it. Number one, humility. Not very many of us are humble. Most people, honestly, we go around and we like to pat ourselves on the back, right? We think everything that we do that's good is by our own doing. I'm a good person because I have done it. And yes, we are cooperating with the graces of God, but every good gift, all of our talents, whenever we do something that is so against human nature, because human nature is usually to only look after the self, and we recognize that those gifts come from God, that's humility. That's one thing of letting God push your boat out into the deep, is to be humble and recognize that all your gifts come from God. The second thing is be like the widow in the gospel. What did she do? She gave everything she had. To be a good person, we have to give our life to God. We have to give everything we have and lay it at his feet and say, do with it what you will. And he will take that. He will take that gift of our life and make great things happen. And I'm not saying great things like earth-shattering, change the whole world type of things. And it can be even, your family, your local community, but he will take that gift and he will apply your talents and your life to changing something in the best possible way. What else does she talk about? Sow happiness about you. I don't know about you, but there are a lot of people that I come in contact with all the time who would say that they are good people, but they are not happy. Most people just don't seem happy to me. They grumble and hate this or hate that, or just seem, uncontent with life. They're bored. Nothing gives them awe or wonder anymore. They just don't seem happy. And I think in order to be a good person, there has to be this happiness that radiates off of you, this joy that comes from God. Even in dark times, even when things are hard, there has to be that happiness, that almost that glow. You know what I mean? When you meet somebody who's really, really happy in their core. What else? Give then generously to others. And I don't mean just giving of your money. We all think that giving generously means giving of our money, and that's good and that's right, and we should share, from our abundance. But what about our love? What about our time? We need to give generously with those things too. And so often we forget those things. We have to give generously with our love to our enemies. That we have to give our time to those who are in desperate need of the human touch, the human, companionship that so many are missing out on right now. And lastly, there where others fear, you will pass calmly along. Why? Being a good person, there's that trust. There's that hope in God. We will trust in him to take us out into the deep, and to transform our lives. We will go to depths that we can't even imagine, because in our human ways, we don't think about those things. We don't think about paths for our lives that call us out into the deep necessarily. We tend to want to, stay in our box, stay in our comfort zone and never get out of it. But those who live truly good lives also are fearless. And this is a complete package. And so I love all of these things that these different, authority figures in her life, different mother superiors, different confessors, her spiritual director. These are amazing nuggets of wisdom here. And I think this is what it means to truly be a good person. And if you're a good person, then you're not, if you follow these things, then you're not going to go out and kill anybody. And you're not going to be wasteful or all these things. But I think it means something different than just simply, I don't get into trouble. I think there's a much deeper meaning behind being a good person. So I got to stop there, but man, this is amazing right here. A lot of good information, a lot of good things to ponder. And I really hope that you do. So I know there was only one number, but it was lengthy. So I'm glad you hung in there with me. But we will be back here tomorrow for day 20 of our readings. And until then, Catholic pilgrims, live the faith boldly and travel well.